Croeso and welcome to Beyond the Track podcast. My name is James C, coach, commentator, lecturer and endurance runner.
And I am Jenny Long, GB distance runner.
We'll be going beyond the track, speaking to the athletes about their stories and also the very best of the sports professionals in Wales and beyond.
We hope you will leave each episode feeling better informed and more inspired about athletics and running in Wales.
So welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Track podcast. My name's James Thee. I'm without Jenny Long, who's recovering from the Valencia Marathon after her debut 2 hours and 32 minutes yesterday. But I'm delighted to be joined by two people who can help me delve into the Valencia Marathon results. What a fantastic day. We've got the Vice Chair of Pontypridd Roadents, Paul Graham, and next to him, a superb member of that Pontypridd Roadents team, Great Britain International, Jake Smith. So welcome to the podcast, both.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Superb. So obviously your wife lost her Welsh record yesterday. So Clara, who we've had in the studio, she saw her Welsh record taken by another person that we've had talking in the podcast, Natasha Wilson, who you share the same coach, Paul, but she took that record 2 hours, 24 minutes and 21 seconds. So as a Welsh enthusiast, you were saying before we came on that it's great to see, but obviously as family loyalties lie, bit of hunger there for Clara to get that record back.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the time that Tash ran was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? And if you look at the splits as well, just such a well-paced marathon. That's obviously the hardest part of marathon running, is getting that pacing right. And she absolutely nailed it and raised the bar yet again in Wales. That bar just seems to be going up and up in the last few years, and I'm sure Clara will relish the challenge of trying to get that back, and I'm sure Tash will. You know, it's going to be like a tennis match, I suspect, between the two of them hitting that ball back and forth.
And what was Clara's reaction? Can you tell us? Is it hunger?
It's definitely hunger. She's out in Kenya at the moment training.
Superb.
And you know, I think you see it all over the place, don't you? Somebody raises the bar somewhere and then somebody suddenly finds an ability to just go that extra mile. And I think they'll both push each other on now, and hopefully we can see that Welsh record come down even further in the next few years.
We'd love that and see them at major champs as well. So Jake, London Marathon for yourself in April, you ran 2:11. Another runner ran 2:11, a certain Alex Yee. And yesterday we saw him absolutely crush it. 2:06.38 to go second on the all-time list. He's one of the nicest guys, isn't he, on the planet? Obviously an Olympic triathlon gold medalist. But, how pleased were you to see Alex's run?
Pleased is a strong word. I was very happy for him.
Yeah.
And I said to, I actually wrote in the Ponty chat, but I said, how can I be pushing him all the way in London to now him being 5 minutes quicker than me?
Same rule apply though. Is it hunger now? Is it like, is it bit fuel to the fire?
Yeah. And you look at like my age group, for example, you like my school year. You have Alex Emil Mohammed. It's just crazy. Seeing him run that time.
Paddy Dever in there as well.
Oh, yeah, Paddy Dever as well. Oh, yeah, he was my age group.
That same Bucks Cross.
Same, yeah. No, everyone was in that Bucks Cross race. And, I mean, as soon as I finished, my parents and Gav were just like, Valencia 26. I had to put my name down. I was most proud of Johnny Mellor, 39 years old. Yeah. 2:08.
Yeah.
And
because he ran a 28:30 in Wilmslow a few weeks ago, and that made me go, "Wow, Johnny's in shape." Marathon, as we all know, can be a fantastic experience, but it can also go the other way. So at 39 to run that is, and we had Andrew Davis, who's Master 45, run 2:18. Someone that seems to have been around for forever, and a lovely guy as well. And longevity. You guys can run for forever, can't you?
And so it was. Yeah, it was amazing to see those performances, and like you said, it's the running now it's become the marathon age is actually getting older and older, which is brilliant. And for some of us, so for example, my age group, now we're looking at Johnny Mellor. I think he's the biggest inspiration probably in British athletics right now. Yeah, and of course, Alex Yee's time it's out of this world. But then I said to my parents yesterday, I was like, what's actually better, Johnny Mellor's 2:08 at 39 or Alex Yee's 2:06? And of course, everyone's going to look at Alex Yee, but you have to look at like what Mel has done.
Well, he's 1 year away from being a true master.
No, exactly.
I think a master 40 is when you're a proper master. And I think if you're running inside 2 hours and 9 minutes, that is something special. I think Mo Farah's got the current British Masters record. So, I think that is something, to behold. And well done to him, well done to his team. Going down some of the other Welsh finishers, Dan Nash, who we had in the studio prior to Valencia, another Ponty Roadents.
Straight off the conveyor belt.
So those Ponty Marathon all-time lists. It obviously wasn't a PB for Dan, but obviously his 2:12 from last year just showed his progression. He'd be slightly disappointed with 2:14. He was just behind the elite women's winner, so we got a little bit of TV time at the end. Chris Thomas, big personal best, another Welsh athlete, not a Ponty Rodent, but he had a problem in the week where his foot basically fell off. He wasn't going to start. He basically decided to go and run. And that, again, just a bit of adrenaline and obviously being in great shape. Personal best 2:14. Also, Dan Hamilton, another Ponty Rodent, 2:16 for Dan. Has anyone spoke to Dan post-race? Is he happy?
Yeah, I think he's relatively happy with it. I think that's sort of the indication he's given to us that, whilst it's not a PB for him as well, I think he's almost offset by the same sort of amount as Dan. I think he's pretty happy with the reflection of where he is at the moment.
Yeah, and that's probably the same for Olivia Sims. It was a couple of minutes down on her personal best. But I coached Olivia. She didn't have the world's greatest block. She had a few issues in the race as well, a bit of cramp. So solid run. And that's the thing, is when it doesn't quite go to plan, same for Dan, both Dans, isn't it, that you try and get as much out of the marathon as you can. When was your last marathon, Paul? What was the last one you towed the line off?
I went in September in
You
Berlin,
did, didn't
which
you?
was a horrendous decision.
Yeah, and what's it like when it doesn't go to plan? What are you thinking?
It was an interesting one in Berlin for me personally, because I had blown up because of the heat. I think it was touching 28 by the end, but I was still kind of moving through the field.
Yes.
So you've got that, you're not running as hard as you want to be, but you can still see that you're doing okay because you're moving up through the positions. But I've had occasions where it's been far worse than that, and when it's gone, and it can be a real mental battle to keep yourself going, to hurt yourself, because it is. The last 5K is pain, isn't it, in a marathon? And it's, what motivates you to hurt when those times have gone, those dangling carrots of those really elusive times. Yeah,
and everyone obviously flocks to Valencia. Sometimes it's the end of November. This year it's the start of December. Jake, you've already talked about it's being a must next year. Obviously, people go for the half marathon in October. There's a few that go out to the 10K in January. It's known for, obviously, it's super fast course, well-organised race. It got a little bit hot yesterday. That was obviously the chat going in the week about the temperature. The wind wasn't a factor like it was, as a discussion point, but definitely heated up a little bit, similar to Berlin. Other Welsh performances, Emily Marchant in her Welsh debut, 2:38. Also, another Ponty Rodent, Adam Ball, 2:23. But Jenny Nesbitt Long made her debut. That 2:32. She was on, I think, 2:28 at one point, 2:29 low. I think maybe the last few kilometres just took a bite. But how much would she have learnt, Jake, as you did in your first marathon, in terms of stepping up distances? Because there's a difference, isn't there, between half marathon, you've paced a lot of marathons as well, but actually going the full distance. What does that feel like, that last 5K?
I mean, London this year, I thought when Alex dropped me, I thought he was running 3 flats. He did not even pick it up. I just went backwards.
Yeah.
But I spoke to Jenny, and the fact she's running 2:32 and her longest run was 34K is very good.
Yeah.
I know Dave was being cautious about it all. So, there are it's one of those where you look back at her block and you say, I could do this differently.
Yeah.
She has 10 different things she could do differently, and she's already running 2:32.
Yeah.
She's already messaged me saying which one she wants to do next, but that's a day after. But she
that's great. That means she's bitten by the marathon bug. Some step up, and it's never again.
So I think Dave's in a bit of trouble now, because I know it can be a bit stressful. She even says, but I think she loved it.
Yeah.
She even said before the race, I'm either going to hate it and message you, I never want to do one again. But then less than 24 hours, she's saying she wants to do another one, and the 2:32's it's a strong run, but she does need to get that long run up a little bit, I think.
Yeah, it is a strong one. How long did you go for your 2:11?
I went to 40K.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask to go 45. I want to do that Dan Nash approach, go over distance one.
Yeah.
Just because I felt like maybe London this year, I was 39K fit. Maybe it was because when whichever Weeder brother, George or Charlie, I can't tell the difference really, but when he dropped out at 26k.
Yeah.
Like you see in Valencia, for example, Alex, I'm not saying anything wrong about that race, but they had paces up until, Emil paced up
Emil went to
35k.
35k. You don't get any better than that. And training partners as well.
Exactly.
So that's an amazing riches of talent to have. And Emil probably could have finished and run a 6 time.
Have you seen the video of him pacing Hendrick? He's just looking around. He's just...
Man. What shape is he in? I mean, he's obviously going to, I think, go Valencia 10k in January. And then I would have thought, it's not official, but London I would have thought would be Emil's, kind of big ticket this year.
Well, I respect Emil so much. He's only done 2 marathons, apart from like the championships.
Yeah.
Only London. Okay, Alex has run a quicker time, but then Emil can race. Emil goes to these races. He hasn't run a fast time. It is going to be scary when he steps up to Valencia, Seville or something. It's actually a bit of I know why he does London, because it's probably good appearance for the British runner and stuff. But it would be interesting to see him. I almost want to tell him, can he not do London? Can he do Seville? Can we see a 2:04 run in there? So, but yeah, it was cool seeing him back out there.
That was great. And just the depth across the Brits, but also European. There were so many national records, and obviously the performances. John Correa was phenomenal, 202. But the Belgium, record 220 and a Finnish national record 220 as well. So, some great performances, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. That Belgian girl, she was the gold medalist in the European.
Yeah, Hellebuck. It was just brilliant run.
Incredible.
Brilliant run.
That you said about,
but there was that stat that I put into some group chats that we were all involved with earlier about prior to Valencia, 17 men had run sub 216 in the UK this year. And in that race, 17 British men ran sub 216. So just to see that depth, sub 216, 17 guys in one race from one
I know you weren't there, Jake, but I did say it should be the British champs. So
it's getting to that point
now.
That
almost should be where the British champs are awarded.
Imagine.
Why not? So no, there were some great performances. And Viano, the Finnish athlete, amazing performance stat from her. So she was 5th in the World Championships. 3 weeks later, ran a Finnish national record of 223. So when we're looking down the stats, thinking if she's recovered, then there's got to be a 220 in there, and she rolled a 220. But what a year she's had in terms of 5th World Champs, 5th Valencia, 220, and there were just so many great performances when you look at it. And there were records, German record Petros.
I know.
What 2 great second places he's had, World Champs. Where he would have been slightly disappointed to have been pipped on the line, but then 204, second in Valencia. When you've run it, Paul, what's advice that you're going to give to Jake? And obviously Clara smashed her own Welsh record there. What is it about Valencia for yourself, for going out there this time of year and running well, that we get that many Brits and other people heading that way?
For me, I think it's where it falls in the year. I think that time of year is really nice. You can do some really good training over the spring. It starts to cool down, so you can get your... I think sometimes in the summer those long marathon sessions can be a bit warm. Yeah. So things are starting to cool down a little bit, so it's nice for training. But actually then the event, it's the way that the course is laid out, the last sort of 5 to 7K is, and Valencia is dead flat, but any slight negative downhill is in that last 5 to 7K, and the way that the wind comes is slightly behind you as well.
They designed it for that. The course was designed so you have a slight tailwind for that last part. So, and do you feel that as a runner when you're out there?
You don't feel it per se, but it's the only place I've ever run a negative split. It's the only place Clara's ever run a negative split, and I think there's evidence there to suggest that the winner yesterday ran
60-30 for the second half. I mean, that's... when I'm in the commentary box, I don't feel the wind, so you don't get the full sense, but you can definitely see the splits get quicker and quicker. And you're right, not many marathons has that. London's tough to go negative split, isn't it?
Yeah. London's a really tough marathon. In comparison to Valencia, it's still a super fast marathon in the context of, if you took a collective all the global marathons.
Compared to the marathon you did.
Marathon early is the chance of running a negative split there. If you can do that, I'll give you the money myself. So now look, let's get on to the club of the year, Pontypridd Roadents. What a phenomenal rise from a club that has been established for a long time, but I would have probably thought the last few years has just seen an absolute explosion in numbers in terms of masses, but at the top end, the club elite end as well, it's just been phenomenal. Yourself as a chair, a vice chair, someone that's come through the club. When did your journey with the Pontypridd Athletics Club start? Pontypridd Roadents Athletics Club start, Paul, and where have you seen it go to?
So I joined in 2013, just off the back of a first marathon, and I kind of thought, if I want to get better at this running stuff, I need to join my local club. And when I joined, it was about 30 members. It was a completely different club. And you might turn up on a training night on a Tuesday at the cricket club we used to meet.
Yeah.
And there might be if there was a good night, you might have 10 people. On a bad night, you might have 2 or 3 runners.
Were you always one of those 2 or 3?
I think it depends. Those were in my university days, so my commitments may have lay elsewhere at points. But it's certainly a different landscape. And I remember rocking up to my first night, and there was maybe 5 or 6 runners there, and I was so far off the back, and one of the ladies had to keep waiting for me, but they did.
Oh, wow.
And nurtured me through that period, and then became involved in the club, and that's kind of like the roots of the club. And it's just been a snowball over the last 10 years.
Any key figures along there that kind of have driven, you've seen it being driven by those club members?
Anybody who's heavily involved with the club. There's a real core group. Yeah. And people keep adding themselves to that either from other clubs or that come into the sport. But there's a lot of really big figures. Past chairmans like Carl Edwards was massive. You've got Andy Davis, our current president, who's always had a real passion for the club. Nick Pounder, Nick Denny. There's this real core in the club. And then you've got some of the characters that, are more out there like Darren Bishop and Billy Haytons that add that comedy value to the club, which I think is what has made us really successful, is that what we've tried to do is create an atmosphere where people actually enjoy going training. Because, it can be hard, especially when the weather's like it is at the moment. It's not nice. It can be really difficult to get out the door. But if you've got somebody that you can run along with, have a laugh and a joke, you're much more likely to go along and do it. And I think that's kind of what we've captured within the club that's made it the success it is, particularly through those early years.
And the explosion probably helped coincided by the Bather track, a Tuesday night, kind of at 6:45, and if you build it, they will come kind of thing, where, it's a great track, isn't it, on the high school there, but it provides a bit of a home, a safe environment. And how much have you seen that? Because it was open, was it just before the first of the COVID lockdowns? I think we got a few sessions on it. But that must have been a real kind of benefit to the club.
Yeah, exactly. We were so fortuitous, aren't we, in RCT, that we've got all these phenomenal, vastly free to use tracks, which is quite unique actually in the UK setting. But it certainly has helped us develop as a club. We were still growing before them, but our Tuesday night sessions, sometimes we were running around a car park, and we were having 75 people turn up to run around a car park. Such was the success of the club already. But then when we were able to transition into this safe environment around an athletics track, it just made a massive difference. And I think in terms of inclusivity, it's huge. And I think we've all been to our track sessions, and I'd like to think that we're in quite a unique position in terms of having that real elite end runner athlete at the sessions, but also it is for everyone. So we might have 30 to 35 minute 5K runners, and because we do everything on time, we can all share the space together and all enjoy it together and actually all improve together. And then we're all sort of bonded by this one thing that we're all doing together, and I think that's massive for the growth as well.
So Jake, when did you join Pontypridd Roadents, and what have you seen and kind of experienced about being a member of the club?
I still haven't got my ice cream you offered me to join Ponty, but
what was that with the offer?
There was like a sun ice. What was it? It was a the waffle place.
Oh yeah, Sub-Zero was it?
Yeah,
I'm just checking my Ponty contract.
Yeah,
is it in mine as well?
There may have been.
I've heard Hennigan's got his, but that's it.
There might have been quite a few things offered over the years that never materialised.
Well, look, speak to your agent and then get in contact with Paul's people. So
I think it was 23. I joined.
Yeah.
Just come back from all my injuries and stuff. I needed a new change, and like yourself, for example, moved to Ponty.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Hennigan moved to Ponty, Piers moved to Ponty, and I just thought like all my best mates around there. Everyone I get on with is there, and yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah. Like like Paul was saying, the characters, the group chats are just funny as anything. Everyone's so supportive as well.
Yeah.
It's very like on the weekend I was messaging all the guys saying good luck, for example, and I don't feel like I've ever really had that part of a club. And yeah, and you go to training, you go on sometimes nights outs together. It's really like almost like a family almost, but you just appreciate everyone. But yeah, it's been awesome as well to see the progress. So like I've done Castles now the last 2 years, and to win it this year was awesome. It was a brilliant weekend. And then as well, National Road Relays were, considering we missed a fair few runners who couldn't go for injury, and coming, I think it was 13th or 14th. I still think we can top 3 with everyone there.
Yeah.
But until then, we're just going to have to keep working.
Because you were telling me, Paul, weren't you, going down the kind of stats, where you've come from in that national 12-stage relays. Where did it start to get now to 13th?
Yeah, I mean, it's only relative recent history that we actually qualified, because obviously in Wales, whether you think it's right or wrong, because obviously English clubs have 15 qualify and we only have 3 from Wales, so we have a much more select pool that go into that. So actually just qualifying for the national road relays can be quite difficult for Welsh clubs, and it's only recently we've started doing that. And I think our first appearance there, we didn't make the top 50, but what we've seen is every year that we've gone back, we've incrementally sort of raised our position to the point where we're just outside the top 10 now. And obviously that's going to be a huge target for us now, is next year let's break into that top 10 and or beyond. But that's what we want, and we've got a really good group of runners that all share that same goal. And similarly on the ladies side as well, we're also having the growth on the ladies side, that it's more recent. We were a few years getting the ladies into the 6th stage, as it is obviously for the ladies, but also they are now growing each year, coming back slightly stronger to that event, and that the hope is that they can follow us as well and become equally as competitive on that side.
And relays is about timing and getting everyone out, and if you can get your squad out, I think Pontypridd Roadents will be very competitive in that 12 stage. But an event where there's a load of organisation, there's a load of group chat about getting everyone out, and everyone wants to be on this team sheet, and that's the Castles relays. The VDOT, explain the VDOT and explain the passion, the time, but also what it meant to finally win this year after so many near, and fairly late explosions in the race, or implosions.
Yeah, we have found a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory on a few occasions.
Yes.
So there was a lot of apprehension later on in this event, but we finally got the win.
It seemed like we were cursed at one point.
It did genuinely feel like everything would go against us. I think there was 2 years where it felt like we should have won it, and then last year Highgate won it with a phenomenal team.
They came big last year.
They were outstanding, and they just won that on merit. They were phenomenal. But the 2 years before was left feeling a bit like we were the strongest team, but didn't quite get the reward that we deserved. And then this year we saw it through. And actually, I think it was maybe downplayed a little bit more this year, that we didn't think we were maybe as strong as we'd been the year before with Highgate. But actually, if you look at the statistics, it would suggest that we were very strong.
Look at the statistics. That's one thing. Your stats per leg, per person. You almost know what's expected of you. You know the distance. There's something about the other runners in the competition that you've got an idea against. So the VDOT itself, again, to get on the team sheet.
Yeah.
That's a hard fought thing to do, isn't it? So explain that to those out there, how the Ponty system works.
So because we have 3 teams in the event, we've got 60 spaces. There's 3 teams of 20 that go into this Castles relay event. So we have a very black and white set out qualification system. It's based off VDOT. It has to be a road event between January and May. That's very clearly set out. And people go away, run their times. They might go to Valencia 10K, Speedway 10K, I've heard.
Do you know what? On my drive in here, it popped up on the group chat, and the first thing someone said was, VDOT opportunity, Speedway's back. So again, So
and all of these events, Liswary 8's another fantastic one.
Yeah, that's another one that I think that bought my place in the in this year's race. So get those points in. Yeah.
So people will be out doing their races, and then we've got almost like a league table, and we try to keep it as up to date as we can every couple of weeks. Or when there's a key event, we publish that says where everyone sits, and everyone's just targeting the top 20 for their team, so they can be on that Castles bus. The party bus, as we like to call it.
So it's not about personality. It's about past history. It's about being informed and ready to go, right?
Exactly that. And there's been people in the past who have missed out, who on merit you would have thought would make the team, but we like to make it a really fair system so that everybody has their fair chance. And,
I remember running the Caerphilly 10K and looking at what my split. I knew what I needed to run the last K in. And I don't think you've run the Caerphilly 10K.
No,
you have.
Yeah.
How hard is that last K?
Yeah, that's not the K to use to do
and I knew I needed about 3 flat, and I made it by the skin of my teeth. So I think I was the last person on the team that year. So just I think Ollie Williams maybe missed out, but it's tough. But it's that atmosphere then over the weekend and the celebration and the finish, obviously, down in Cardiff, when you finally saw and the presentation of the winning medals, relief, satisfaction, enjoyment.
Enjoyment. I think because it's been such a long, hard-fought battle for us. I think even 5 or 6 years ago, we were quite explicit in saying we want to win the Castles Relay.
Well, the group chat name changed to that, didn't it? So,
yeah. So, you know, I think because we'd come close so far, it was
Yeah.
pretty sweet to actually finally get it done. But also a bit of relief, you know, that we finally did it. We on paper, I think we were so strong for so many of those years that it felt like we should have got there eventually, and now we've finally done it. And now I guess we have to go back as champions and defend it.
Yeah, repeat business. So, in terms of the club, you've talked about the importance of, you know, the strong depth in, you know, all abilities. How important is that to Ponty Roadents, having a really core base of runners and creating that, you know, that safe, friendly, fun, as you said, with the likes of Darren environment?
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it? So, like, you just have to touch on the fact that we've got these club races that we host. We have 3 fantastic races that we run. We've got the Ponty Park Relays, we've got the Reverse 10, and we've got Forest 10K. For those events to happen, there's a lot of work that has to go on in the background to put on a race. I'm sure there'll be lots of race organisers within the Welsh athletics community that understand how much goes into it.
There is,
And without having a good membership base, you can't really do that. And we always get comments back on our events that they're some of the best marshalled events. There's lots of marshals. Generally, people tend to be quite cheerful, which in Reverse 10 isn't always easy.
That's tough, February, and it's probably wind and rain and ice, you know. It's tough,
And without those people, then we couldn't host those events. And I think that's also really important for the club to kind of put these events back on for the local running community. And also, I guess, in terms of funding, you know, we make a small amount of money from these races, and then that goes back into, you know, funding things like putting minibuses on for castles, and those little bits. Then that means that we can then add back into those events, and I think keep that money in the kind of running community, and I think that's really good as well.
And Jake, when you've run the castles, I know the level of effort and enthusiasm. It's a bit like Tour de France. If you haven't run the castles, some of the stages are like Tour de France, where they are tough climbs, but there's people both sides shouting at you. What's that atmosphere like, and how, you know, kind of important is it wearing that Ponty vest, and how much of a buzz do you get from that?
I generally don't think. I was speaking to like some of the others about this. I don't think I've ever pushed that hard in a race. Like, I put absolutely everything into it. And
was that this year and last year as well?
Both years.
Yeah, both years. I was going to say, I think it's both. Yeah.
I think after watching Bull on this stage this year and getting to that top, I think I'll have to step it up another level.
Oh wow.
I think what's great about it is there's no. It's not. It's. I know it's like it's completely different because all the races I've done this year are races like British Champs, whatever like that. Whereas this one is, you have no clue at what stage, if you're in like Ponty or first overall, and you're just trying to cut down every single second to make the teams behind you even further away. So I remember doing stage 3 this year, and it was like flattish, like undulating, and then the last 5K, it's like you just run up this bloody mountain. And I was just hurt, but it's just in the back of your mind is I need to get seconds because every year it's been minutes between the first and second, and you finish and you're just like, oh, it's honestly the coolest event. Like this year, it's definitely top 3, top 2 probably best events I've done, and I've done a fair few races. But I just want to get all those dragons. I want to get all the crack champs. I want to get all the records.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think stage 7.
I want to stay on my same stage I had this year because it was slightly downhill. It was lovely. So gorgeous finish at.
I don't think. I'm not allowed those ones.
Oh no, you're not having that one. I'm having that one next year again. Well, I need to run fast enough in the V dot again. So, Paul, let's get on to some of the elite elements of Ponty Roadents. Now, a few years ago, could you imagine you have a British 1500 metre champion in Rodents vest, Piers Copeland, a good friend of yours, taking that title, and then obviously the other standards, obviously the gentleman to your right, what he's been running on the roads. We had a brief appearance of Fergal Curtin, the Irish national record holder over the half marathon in the Ponty vest. Obviously Jenny and Clara smashing it. So, did you think a few years ago the club records would be where they're at now?
Absolutely not. I think if you look back to that 30-person running club, and maybe the fastest person at the club at that time would be running about 1:25 for a half marathon. There was club records from previous years that were slightly faster. We'd be sort of talking like in the men's record for the marathon would be something around 2:29. Whereas when you look at the times we're running now, it's an absolute huge change. And I don't even think the wildest optimist would have probably predicted where the club was going at that point. But it's obviously great to see, and I think it's the same thing that we talked about with that Welsh national record, the Welsh national record for the marathon earlier. You just raise the bar, and I think what's really refreshing is like when you're surrounded by these runners, you actually just realise how normal they are.
Yeah.
Like that they're not doing anything different to what you do, and I think that's particularly useful, like for like the sub elite groups that I kind of like to put myself in. That I'm never likely to be a professional athlete, but I can kind of see what the professional athletes are doing, and kind of emulate what they do to try and get the best out of myself as well. So it's phenomenal to kind of see those records and how far they've gone. Completely out of reach. I'm kind of hanging on to my 8-mile record now. Yeah. At one point, I think I held almost every club record, but my
is that still there, or is it gone? Or
no, Lisbury 8 is still there. Every year, someone's
what's it stand at? What's the figures?
39.29. I managed to do a few years back. So
good running.
So
is that for the win or?
Yeah, I took the win that year. Yeah. So I think it was. I think maybe Ben Miles equaled it, or maybe was slightly quicker this year, but it was sort of the fastest winning time for about a decade, I think.
Wow.
Just putting it out there
drop
as well.
Drop that in there. So, and where do you see the club going? Because obviously, it doesn't currently have a junior ranks. Is that anything that you might potentially think about as a club, or you're just happy being, a senior club?
It has been discussed. I'm not sure the club will ever go down that route. I think there's already a lot of work involved with running a club, and I think that would make it more difficult. So I'm not sure it's something that we would look at. What that does give us, unfortunately, is a bit of a reputation in terms of, how we grow the club, because obviously if we don't have juniors, we can't bring them up through the club.
Yeah.
And we do have plenty of cases where, myself, I didn't run for a running club, joined as a 4.5 hour marathon runner and became a, just outside 2:20. So, I developed within the club, and there's plenty of cases of that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that does mean that some runners have to come outside.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion. I mean, I had it myself. People, I was Cardiff for 24 years. But when I tried to explain that I lived in Rhondda and Taff for 15 years, which obviously Pontypridd Roadents, that's their postcode or county borough. Training at Bather, obviously, you can only train, isn't it, 4 times at Bather as a non-club member, and then you should really be a club member.
Exactly that, yo.
Yeah, and I love it. I mean, for me, I coach here in Cardiff Met. I drive up, I literally put my running shoes on, I run from the car park down to the start of the session. It's already started. It's either you or Ben or someone or Darren. How many reps are we in? What's the recovery? And I literally just latch on joining, because you're running to time. And it's very inclusive like that. And it's on my way home, so I get a track session done with someone else on the whistle, someone else looking after the session, bit of banter, bit of talking about what happens at the weekend or races, what races are coming up, and then get in the car, jog back to the car, back home, and it doesn't seem like I've gone out of my way to get a session. So trying to explain to people, that was my rationale for leaving, but obviously other people had different reasons. As you said, Jake, you wanted a slightly different change for yourself. So, but yeah, you're going to. Is that something that you're not really bothered? Is that water off your back, Paul, or is it just something that's nature of trying to build a successful club?
I think it's kind of what you said. We've created this environment where it's actually quite fun to go to training. I think what you've said there, it corroborates with most people that it's really exciting, it's good fun. We have a laugh. Training becomes a lot easier because of it. And then what I would say is, other clubs can do that. That's not an exclusive thing that we have in Ponty. So, if clubs aren't providing that, and I think generally they are, but if they're not and people choose to come with us, so that's what I would say. On that, I don't think we need to.
And the other thing, for joining Ponty for me was bucket list of running in the Castle Relays. That was always on my list of races.
Winning it.
And well, no, I think winning it was like, I didn't even think I'd heard it's almost one of those things you grow up, and being a track runner, kind of it was something I wasn't necessarily going to do. I know we have had some that have jumped in mid-track seasons, but yeah, I was kind of thinking, later on. But yeah, I think being part of something that it was obviously a big driver, and I could see you guys that was where your focus was. So it was great to be involved in that. So you got the Christmas party coming up this weekend, and the awards. You looking forward to that?
That's always a good one. So I'm looking forward to that one on Saturday. Yeah. So I think that would be quite a drink heavy one, as a lot of our events are, because as we sort of touched on, it's all about having fun with it as well, isn't it? So we run hard, we train hard, but we also party hard as well.
And for yourself, Jake, in terms, are you invited? Are you going to the Christmas party, or are you head down training?
Hopefully pacing the Christmas Classic. So
yes, you are.
Hennigan,
Actually, I should have checked that.
I need to. I can't go to that.
Fellow Ponty athlete, James Hennigan.
So
will be
it's
looking
his
to smash
farewell
that.
race, I think. Farewell race.
Yeah, before he drifts off to the Australia. So will we see that Ponty vest?
We can see the Ponty record, maybe, if he has a screamer.
Remind me what the Ponty 3K record is.
Ooh, actually.
I'm not sure.
It might be Piers last
Maybe
year,
Piers last
56,
year.
57.
Oof, yeah, so
that could be tough and Matt, but
Could be tough.
Hennigan, it's either 9 minutes or 7:30.
Next marathon for you, Jake, where are we going?
I want to do London.
Yeah.
I was a bit nervous Dan Nash was going to take my record, and I'm glad Fergal's left.
Yes.
But so there was, because I kept meshing Paul after. I was like, is Fergal, when he ran 60:22, I was like, is he still Ponty? Like,
Has he played his club membership?
He is still in the chat.
Has he played his club membership?
No.
And then obviously running 207.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's a shame because it's like, when he was in Cardiff, for example, having him in Ponty, imagine having him on a mountain. I know he doesn't really like the hills too much, but...
Yeah. Or imagine him having in the 12 stage.
I know.
On a long stage in that.
But that's what, before he moved to Portugal, I know he was still with us for a bit and stuff, but before he moved, I was saying to him, like, training with yourself in Cardiff, imagine if we sent him on the 12 stage as well. It would be...
That's minutes.
Yeah.
That's minutes there.
That's a big
I reckon we
swing,
could still swipe him back for a year. I think he
get him
definitely
back.
would.
Get him back in for the 12 stage.
You saw his Strava. He loves the black and white, doesn't he?
Does.
Get him on loan for
Yeah.
a little while.
A quick loan signing. And Paul, what's next for you? Is there another marathon in the offering? Are you were saying before coming on air that it's always the way as a marathon runner, you finish and like never again, and then about a few days later you sign up for one. Have you signed up for another one?
I haven't currently. Well, actually, I'm doing Seville in February, but I'm doing a pacing job there.
Okay.
And
For
then-
Clara?
For Clara,
Yes.
yes. So I will go and pace. Hopefully,
2:24:20 is the aim, right?
I think even before Natasha's run, it was sub 2:24 was the aim.
Yeah.
That's, you've always got to have a bit.
Olympic time. No.
I think it's likely to be 2:23:30, but we're not in the period yet. But when you've run 2:25:01 as Clara has, your next natural step, right, about a minute quicker for the marathon is the natural step. So I'll be there, and then hopefully I'll do Valencia for myself later on in the year. But
No London.
no London, no. I'm going to get back on some 10Ks. I'm going to go out, do Valencia. And then there's a fast one in the Netherlands, Shirl. I've probably butchered how that one is said. but I'm going to go out there. And then I think Cheshire Elite 10K as well in March. So get a nice few
Lots of
10Ks.
races.
That's another thing I like about Ponty. It's like a lot of us turn up to London.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's nice because you can like meet each other afterwards. So like for me, for example, I'm doing London because I want that European time after seeing Johnny Miller run it.
Yeah.
But then it's the exact same thing because you saw like yesterday we're all together in a pot afterwards. No matter what run, no matter how they did or anything, they don't care. They just want to spend time together, and you do get that after London as well. So it's another race like Paul was saying where there's a big contingent of Ponty runners together.
Yeah.
And it's really really nice.
And that European standard 2:09:30. Yeah. So an eye on that. So and
100%. It has
for
to be.
for women 2:27.
2:27 flat.
Yeah, to give yourself a chance. So no, I mean, like, look,
There's a lot of women that have already done
Oh,
that.
it's stacked, isn't
the
it?
UK
Yeah.
is pretty good
Whereas
on
the
that.
men's lucky because there's only, I counted, there's like 4 runners as of now who have run under 2:09:30 this year.
Yeah.
Whereas the woman, Cara was saying 5 women under 2:25 already.
Yeah,
in Britain.
and it's
just
sub 2:20.
What's been the change? I mean, like in terms of, we're obviously in the midst of a running boom.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. Races are selling out. Valencia's going to a ballot next year, as
Really?
Cardiff Half did.
Wow.
But we've seen obviously an explosion in performances. You talked about the number and depth that we've had. What do you put that down to?
It's how many people run, isn't it? I think every pyramid, the base is always the widest part, right? So the more people you have running, the more solid that foundation is, and you go up those steps of the pyramid and you just push the people at the top up. And I think that I firmly believe that that's why more people are running well. And I talked about Pontypridd going from 30 to 300 in a decade. I think if you went around every club in Welsh Athletics, I think you would find not necessarily that level of growth, but every club is growing. Therefore, more people are doing the sport. So we're all just pushing the top up and raising that bar. Somebody will try and do something that they might have sort of not had to try and do before. They'll push themselves a little bit harder, and some people will make it and some people won't, and that's just raising that bar up, isn't it?
And Jake, running's cool right now, right?
Oh, I think so. Like, we're talking about like the elite and sub-elite. I think it was all down to Emil last year. Like, I put my hands up to that. As soon as he came fourth at the Olympics, the whole of Britain went crazy, and you see the number of guys doing the marathon now. And yeah, I think running's cool. I try and make it cool. I try and do silly things to make it cool. But I mean, as well, you have like, I was talking to Katie, there's a lot of girls at Park Brynback who are now doing high rocks, but a part of the club for their running to increase on that. And maybe we get a high rocks down. I don't know what's going on. But,
you heard it first here, Jake Swift, high rocks.
Not me.
Not yet. Look, well, it's been fantastic having you on the Beyond the Track podcast. I mean, again, well done to Pontypridd Roadents, Welsh Athletics Club of the Year. Phenomenal achievement. We can't wait to see the future and where that goes. And obviously, best of luck for Clara and your pacing job in February in Seville. I'll be there on commentary again.
Are you in Seville as well?
I'm in Seville, yeah. So no lovelier place to be.
Big shout out.
No lovelier place to be in February with the tree-lined streets of orange trees. So beautiful.
Oh, is it?
Wonderfully flat, great temperature. Wonderful city. So yeah, put that on your bucket list, Jake, and good luck for London. I'll be doing the elite press conference, so I might obviously have you on the stage, and we'll be picking your brains and getting you ready for race day. So look, thank you so much for coming into the studio, and look, let's hope 2026 is an even bigger year for the Ponty Rodents, and let's hope we defend those castle relays. So thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Beyond the Track podcast. Thank you again to Paul. Thank you again to Jake. We'll be back again next week for another episode. But if you have enjoyed this, like and share and subscribe, and just keep enjoying the superb guests and information that keeps coming your way. See you next week. Thank you very much.